Namaste. Happy Thursday to all of you. The day of Jupiter, yellow, light. In my travels, I am often asked several questions and I address them as I find the proper opportunity. Today, the question is, what is the difference between the brain and the mind? The way to really understand the brain is like a computer, and the mind is the programmer. For example, your mind sends a signal that I am hungry. Okay, you put in I am hungry, and the brain has to find a way to find some food. So the desiring mind is the operator, and fulfillment or making it possible is only the job of the brain. Will find where the food is. Now, if we really understand it from the point of view of inner tuning system or micro chakra psychology that I teach, it becomes very clear that we don't just have one mind. We have 7 different minds. So the first mind is regulated by what is called Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. Subtle body is the master here that thinks in terms of what we desire. So in the chakra system, we have first chakra mind. First chakra mind deals with the body, the appetite, food, and so on. So when the first chakra mind says, I am hungry, only then the brain is employed to find the food. First chakra mind actually is the mind of the body, not the mind of the gender. That's a separate mind. So if we can make a distinction in our everyday life, that is it the first chakra mind speaking, is it the second chakra mind ordering, or it's the third chakra mind, so on. I have explained that very much in detail in my book, Micro Chakras. But here we are going to concentrate on the function of the brain as directed by our mind. Now, the mind has 4 different aspects that is very commonly known in our yoga system. First one is what is called the ahamkara. Aham means I am. Aham. So ahamkara is the I maker, which at night it is totally in the state of contentment. And we have a deep sleep. The moment we awaken, the I maker becomes functional. I means the subject, and the object then becomes the universe. In the waking state, the I maker dominates. So that is a mind that recognizes the other than the subject, the I maker, ahamkara. The second function is of what is called buddhi, the intellect. Intellect is something that we accumulate on the daily basis from our experiences, our vocabulary, our ability to put sentences together, to convey what we need, what we want, and so on, what we teach. That is called the buddhi, B-U-D-D-H-I. The third aspect of the mind is what is called Chitta. Chitta is Chitta. Chitta is the screen of consciousness where all the drama of life is played out. But the Chitta also has its own nature, which is one of non-duality. It is just consciousness. It's pure consciousness. It does not identify with anything. It just is. It has no beginning and no end. It is, you can call it universal consciousness, if you will. Then there is an individualized consciousness in us. We call that as Atma, A-T-M-A. Poor translation of Atma will be soul, but there is a difference between soul and Atma, because Atma does not suffer while soul can. So, then is the mind, now Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahamkara. The eye maker, the intelligence, and the intellect, and Ahamkara. If we understand these four principles, then when something happens in terms of our need, we first think before we decide what is that we really should be having, in the case of hunger, for example. Now, there is an impulsive nature of the eye maker, which is that you just go by what you feel like. And that case, we are not using the discriminating mind that tells us what we should be eating based on maybe our type of the body we living in, the type of blood we have, and the season, and then of course what you like to eat as well, because the choices are tremendous, especially these days when food is available from all over the world in practically every country. So the function of making a proper selection is good health, good mind, and finally, the contentment that we derive out of what we ate, what we eat. In microchakra psychology, we have 21 microchakras related to each of the major chakras. Today, we were just concentrating on the difference between the mind and the brain. So what is the function of the brain? You see, the main thing to understand is that the ideas that come to our mind or our brain, they are not produced by the brain. We have three different bodies, physical being the one that is the container, the recipient, and then we have what is called the feeling body. In Sanskrit, it's called Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, which is where the desiring mind is. All our feelings, they come to us through the right hemisphere of the brain, and then we receive them. Thoughts come to us, that's the third body called Karan Sharira, K-A-R-A-N, Karan Sharira, causal body. All our thoughts come to us from the causal body, received through our left hemisphere of the brain. So brain is not a producer of feeling. Brain is not a producer of thoughts. Brain is not a producer of the appetite. All of that is coming to us from the subtle body and the causal body, because physical body is the recipient of the feelings and thoughts. Therefore, you have to move the physical body to go out and get what you need to eat. But the feeling of appetite is coming from our subtle body. Through the animal brain, it manifests when it comes to food and sex and power. Then, of course, there are higher chakra minds that become more responsible for understanding the subtle aspect of the human body and the human mind. Main thing to really understand is that we are basically three different bodies working simultaneously at the speed of light. We think, feel, and do almost at the same time. More intelligent you are, the more control you have over your thoughts, feelings, as well as the actions. When you make the right choices, obviously you live a happier life. And if you don't make the wise choices, then of course the disease will come, teaching us a lesson that we are not doing something right. And therefore, to reflect at that time when we are sick, it's an opportunity to reflect. Maybe that's why we are called in the medical offices a patient. A patient means somebody who should have patience. Thank you.